Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us.
This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth is still coming. This is in the occupied zone. The chair is against the walls. The chair is against the walls. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock in there. Another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every day at midnight Eastern, a little bit later on Thursdays, for about an hour each evening. We'll talk about 3 different gun-related topics each night, different topics throughout the week. We come up with those topics on Monday, so if you'd like to be part of the show, join us on Mondays and give us your ideas for show segments. We're happy to include them. Or if you'd like to suggest topics, if you're not able to catch us live on Mondays, then email us dailygunshow@gmail.com. We're always interested in making this an effort in interactive media. Let's see, we run it live on YouTube, and we simulcast it at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the live comments from the people that do watch the show live. And again, we appreciate everybody who stays up and watches the show, especially on Thursdays when we run a little later, since the other shows happen and are worth listening to and being part of. So we wait till they're over. Also, the people over on Instagram that are watching, we appreciate it. We also appreciate the people that watch the show after it airs, when it's not live as a recording on YouTube or iTunes, wherever the platform is you might listen to it, especially those that take the time to give us some feedback, leave comments on the videos or the podcasts, give us thumbs up, subscribe to the channels. All those things let us know that you're out there. We appreciate that as human beings. And then the robots out there use that type of information to decide what video to recommend. We hope that'll help us get more listeners, more viewers, and that's one of our goals. So we do appreciate the people that take the time to do that for us. We have hosts, just 2 of us today, though. Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks, Bob, for being truly dedicated to the Daily Gun Show.
Well, you know, somebody has to be, right? I'm not like Jimmy character.
Famous or rich or nothing. We just want to make sure the show survives. But I don't know what happened. Either Jimmy's got something going on or he's sleeping. And I'm down here in Tucson. And no Smeggy, no Dano, no Z. Just Bob and I today. So let's see. It is episode number 479. It's a Thursday. So we're talking about training and CCW. Actually, you shouldn't say it's just Bob and I. It's just Bob and I and 20 of our closest friends who are watching live. So we do appreciate the people that are out there. You're going to be more a part of the show than ever. In fact, I'm going to take a quick look on Gun Channels to see if anybody is chatting that would like to be a guest host today. Maybe take over for Jimmy. Black and Jimmy, we call him.
Oh, yeah. Does that mean they'll get his paycheck for today?
Oh, yeah.
There's a bonus.
You know what? Let's give him double Jimmy's paycheck. Let's give him today's and yesterday's.
All right. Yeah, I think that's great, man. Get somebody who wants to really be here, not just, you know, busy sleeping.
All right. Well, I don't see any volunteers, so I guess it's just me and Bob. So we'll keep moving on. We're going to be talking about CCW. How many mags do you carry? We'll get into stuff, and we'll talk about gun magnets or something else, because I know when we came up with that topic, Bob wasn't super hot on it, and he's 50% of the show today. And then we'll do training. What's the best training class for beginner and newcomer to guns? So Dano, of course, asked that question, but didn't show up to be part of the answer.
Yeah, well, he would always be just, it's all about internet training, because, you know, Dano, him and internet.
So, and then we'll talk about our gun shop of the day and the gun of the day and all the other stuff we do on a daily basis. So a bunch of people checking in on the YouTube side. Hey to everybody over there. Thanks for checking in, and thanks for the thumbs. We're not quite at a 50% ratio, but hopefully everybody will get their thumbs up on that one. And then we see Ghost over there. If you're going to be up, if you'd like to be the new Jimmy, let us know. We'll throw you a link. So we're going to...
Ghost would make a way better Jimmy.
Oh, yeah. A ghost Jimmy.
A ghost Jimmy.
A ghost Jimmy, you don't even have to tell the police about it. I'm going to send him a link just in case he wants one.
No serial number on Ghost Jimmy.
Let's see.
which is probably for the better because, you know, it took 3 of us to hold Jimmy down to give him his tattoo. So
It's supposed to be a voluntary tattoo. All right, so we got a couple of links out there. We'll dig into how many mags do you carry? And since Bob doesn't carry, this will be a short one. I carry my mag in gun.
I carry when I'm down there.
All right.
Come on. I carry when I'm in Arizona where I'm allowed to. Unfortunately, my country doesn't allow me to defend myself.
So how many mags do you carry?
Well, counting the one in the gun, 3.
Oh, so you carry 2 and the 1 in the gun?
Yeah. And all 15 rounders, like whatever the standard capacity for my gun is.
And then we got Ghost jumping in. Thanks for joining us. And how many mags do you carry?
Thanks for having me. I kind of make the big time now. I'm on a daily gun show. Wow. No, I carry 1 extra.
Yeah, same here. So, I mean, I've carried 2 before. Again, I guess it depends on what I'm doing. If for some reason I want to carry 2, I do have dual mag carriers. I can see the utility in that. But most of the time, I'm just carrying the extra.
But then you carry 2 guns, right?
I do. That's a good point. I'll have if I'm carrying the Glock, that means I've got the Ruger as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you go that way, I have my EDC, but I also will carry a truck gun. I have a pistol in the car wherever I am at all times, and that actually has the magazine that's in the gun and plus 2 others. So I've actually got 3 mags in that gun. Now it's not all me at all times, but if I'm in my car or I have access to my car, then I've got plenty of firepower.
Yeah, see, there you go. And it makes such a difference, right? Like, I mean, if I could carry another, or you know, had another gun I could carry, right? Like a small Walther or something like that, I probably would only carry 1 extra mag for my main carry gun, and then, you know, probably the mag that whatever was in my secondary. So yeah, it makes a big difference if you can carry a New York reload, right?
So I don't necessarily carry an extra mag for, I always say, it's not for an extended gunfight. I don't think I'm going to run out of ammo in some kind of movie battle, but to keep a semi-automatic running. So, you know, the New York reload concept, I guess, is not something I carry a second firearm for. I carry the second firearm in case I'm out shooting or something, and I got my Glock at the bench. You know, I'm downrange. Somebody decides that's a great time to do a snatch and grab or something. Or, I don't know, some coyote tries to run out and fight me or something. So the New York reload concept isn't so much that I've got the second mag for that or the second gun for that. So I have that second mag in case there's a malfunction, and 2 rounds into my 3-round gunfight, change mag.
Yeah, that's why I carry my mag, is for malfunctions also.
Yeah, and then,
plus, when you carry a caliber like 45, then, you know, somebody might need one. Like you got somebody else, and they are like, "Oh, I'm out of rounds," and you got some extra mags to feed them. They're carrying around 1911.
Well, you're also talking, if you're carrying 45, your capacity in your mags are going to be less than if you're, you know, most 9mm mags will have a higher capacity because they're smaller rounds too. So
true.
And a lot of the times, you know, well, I guess in an extended gunfight, you might have to just keep their head down versus one to put them down. So, yeah, that's where it might be handy to have a couple of more rounds, even if it is just 9mm.
No, let's not get into fantasy land. I think of very few justifications, warning shots or cover shots or something at somebody. I mean, if
never warning shots. Yeah, warning shots are.
I'm not even talking about warning shots. You don't get to fire rounds at somebody, keep their head down as you do something. So that's not something that's defendable in court and reasonable amongst the jury or peers. So unless the world has gone to hell, we're not going to be firing, you know, cover fire.
I think the only time I'm going to have to use it is like, you know, being, you know, lack of rule of law. You know, if the world's gone insane, the zombies have attacked. You never know, right? I guess it wouldn't work with zombies though.
Well, all of that being said, I don't carry my second mag for those kind of possibilities. I don't really think the world's going to go to hell before I can get home or something one day. But I don't know. We've been looking out there. We got a couple of people on the YouTube side telling us that George went up. Let's see. George said he carries 15 round 40 for the Glock, and then sometimes carries the 22. And that's something we didn't talk about, carrying a higher capacity backup. So that can be handy sometimes with the 9 or the 40 now, technically, but nobody's going to carry that giant 45 mag. But that 33 round 9mm mag is really not that much longer than a 15, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not double the length for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty handy. I mean, especially depending on your body type and what you're doing, you can stick one of them 33s into a standard mag pouch. It's going to jam up into your kidneys, but under garment, right? Under a cover garment. So it might be a little bit more uncomfortable. You might know it's there, but then you've got 33 rounds.
Yeah. Jorge or George, what it also says that he carries off body sometimes, and he'll carry a few extra 15 round or 22 round mags in his bag if he is carrying off body. So, some people do carry off body in a bag or something like that. And if you do that, then yeah, you can load up with all the ammo you want in that bag, technically.
You got one of those belly purses? What do they call those?
I think he probably just uses like a backpack, I'm assuming. I don't want to speak for him, but I think he probably uses a backpack or something.
I'm just thinking one of those purses that people carry around their waist.
Yeah. The fanny packs.
That's it. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. I just call them belly purses.
A lot of times, if I'm wearing like yoga pants and a half shirt, there's just nowhere to carry on your belt, so I'll off body carry for that.
Well, technically, you could put them in your leg warmers if you wanted to. You can conceal them there.
Not a 45 though.
Yeah, but if your leg warmers are tight, they're gonna.
You going? What was that movie? Flashdance. You going to the Flashdance?
Yeah.
Cut off sweatshirt.
Jimmy's about to come in. When he gets here, act like we're in the middle of a real funny conversation or something, so he feels like he missed something good.
That's great.
Take him a little while to click on the links, I guess. All right, so I think that's amazing.
That is funny. Oh my god, are you serious?
No way to recreate that.
No way.
Wow.
Had to be here for that. Oh.
Okay, let's get back to it. All right. Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy's here now.
Oh, hey, Jimmy.
What's up, Yimmy?
Dang it, Clover can't even run a show to the top of the hour. What the heck?
So we got the new Jimmy and the old Jimmy. They can kind of pass the baton on. Be nice.
I thought we'd meet. I didn't.
Don't want to be awkward, but this is the new Jimmy. So we were about to wrap up the how many mags do you carry, but let's get some insight from Jimmy, somebody who actually can carry.
I carry as many as possible.
Country.
But realistically, how many do I carry? I at least carry one extra mag most of the time, 2 to 3. But sometimes, you can only carry one, or the outfit that you're wearing only allows for it or something like that. But yeah.
I told you the yoga pants?
Well, yeah. And, and then the fanny pack, it only fits so many magazines in it. So.
Hey, G, you actually got a question from out there. It's a really good question from Alan S. Pro on the YouTube side. He said he took a gun from a friend because he was drinking and playing with it, and he plans on giving it back in the morning. What would you have done? I mean, I think he did exactly the right thing. That's my personal opinion. If he's to the point to where he could be endangering himself, and anybody else in there because he's intoxicated playing with a gun, then that's just not very smart. That's my take on it.
Yeah, no, that's like taking somebody's keys, as far as I'm concerned. It's a danger to the public. It might cost you friendships, and I've had taken keys away from people cost friendships, but better than knowing that if I hadn't done it, somebody died, right? So tough
lose
call.
The friendship if they drunk drive home and die or hurt somebody, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, Night Strike would say shall not be infringed, but I think exactly. I mean, that's what friends are for. You obviously it's not something somebody set out to do, but if they got themselves to a point where they're not thinking straight, then yeah, I mean, isn't it a responsibility of a friend to step in and be that, your friend? What the hell? That's what a friend does.
Yeah.
Jimmy has no. Do we have to take Jimmy's gun? Is he drunk? Come on.
I'm just sitting here twirling my gun around, guys. Sorry.
He's Billy the Kid in there.
Yeah.
No, I've always followed the same thing I do with driving. It's 12 hours from bottle to throttle and 12 hours from bottle to trigger. I mean, that's just common sense, right?
I guess so.
Oh, somebody's in trouble.
My wife is cooking right now, so.
Her banging on the door. Get off that damn
She's hitting me over the head with a pot, but she didn't realize it doesn't do much damage when you don't have a whole lot up there in the head.
What's she making?
My mom and dad are here, and they're sick, so she's making some soup for them.
Oh, right on. Yeah. All right, so that was our How Many Mags Do You Carry segment of the show, and that is a good question. That was worth bringing up. So thanks for doing that. Thanks for being part of the show out there. And again, that's what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to entertain or, bring you something so much as a conversation each day. So the other part of the conversation is the people on the other side. So think of this interactive, whatever we're calling this, podcast / live chat. Think of it as a two-way conversation. So
yes, although if entertainment happens, we don't mind.
Purely
it's a mistake, I'm sure, right?
It's a complete accident. All right, so we're going to move into gun magnets, or we can let Ghost come up with a topic because none of us really like the idea of gun magnets again. That'll be our default. But before we do, we like to take a break between the first and second segment of the show each day to feature a member over at Gun Channels. And today we're taking a look in the past. I've mentioned a couple of people from back in the day when one of my first forays into online conversation like this community. Whoa, there goes the people on phones. Was to build gunchat.net, and that was a forum. My answer to some of the rude, unregulated, kind of nasty forums that were out there. We had a couple of them. The gunchat.net was the gun one, obviously, and it was basically focused towards just collectors, shooters, like recreational casual shooters, and people interested in training, but we didn't really attract the hardcore trainers. I wasn't even training back then at all. Again, collectors and just people that were new to firearms. This was in the 2004 to 2009 era, 2007 probably. And anyway, we had quite a few members over there that made it a real community, people that came around consistently for a long, long time, very much like the community we have over on Gun Channels or on YouTube or on any of the platforms. When you start to meet people and you anticipate seeing them there, and you have ongoing conversations with maybe up to a dozen or more people on platforms like this. Anyway, one of the people that really made it a great place was a guy called Polar Bear Bait. I don't, like most people, I can't remember his real name. Doesn't really matter. He was a something with oil and exploration probably, or maybe support. Anyway, he was in Barrow, Alaska, one of the farthest north, if not the farthest north civilization in the United States, at least up in Alaska. Little tiny town up in the middle of nowhere. He got paid extraordinarily well for whatever the heck he did. And he was not only a collector of AKs, but of AK bayonets. So him and I got along very well. Together, we were finding and discovering new sources for bayonets, and we both amassed a massive collections with each other's help. And just in general, he's an interesting guy. Again, when you have somebody around who's part of the conversation who has both time and an extraordinary amount of money and interest in creating a firearms collection, it can be a lot of fun for everybody, for the people who are getting to experience it, as well as the person accumulating the collection. Because honestly, what fun is having a collection if you're just going to look at it in a room by yourself, right? I mean, I guess that's fun for some people, but I think most people do appreciate having people appreciate it as well and ask questions and poke around and and have fun with it. So that was all done on Gun Chat, and Polar Bear really made it a unique place. Instead of just being a boring forum, it was a live place with real people, and he was one of them. And that was our look back at it, and we're definitely doing that and more even over on gun channels. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, if you haven't experienced that kind of thing online, give it a try. And if you don't like our flavor, we're not the only ones. Check out the other things that are out there. You might find people that are into hunting or maybe competitive shooting, a little bit different flavor that you might like more. Probably people that are more rude or more polite, and that are on more topic or less topic, whatever it is. But I encourage you to check it out. It is a really neat part of the internet. Is this whole taking it from beyond just being an audience and or just being a content creator, putting out content and moving along to this interactive conversation. It's been just so much more fun than just one or the other.
That's very true. I mean, I never would have got the whole internet thing if I hadn't found the chats. I mean, it really opened my eyes to all the different people that are out there that are into the same thing I am. And, they might be different in so many different ways. Say different one more time. But no, it's been a real experience for me. And so, like say, you got into it a few years before me, G. But yeah, I've just found it just to be a really cool way to spend your time. I could spend it in bars. I could spend it in pool halls. I could spend it in movie theaters, watching the stupid TV. This is, to me, is way more fun.
I agree. I've enjoyed the chats. The just like we talk about all the time, but the just being able to interact with people that are like-minded and bounce ideas off of them, or if you've got a question about something, there's always someone around that you can discuss things with and answer questions and all that. So it's great.
So we've got a question coming in. Speak of that from the Instagram side. Javier's asking, is 380 a good self-defense gun? So let's take a quick diversion and answer that one. Is 380 a good self-defense gun? Bob?
My backup gun's a 380.
Bob?
As a backup gun, sure. As a main carry, I'm really just not taking with it. I consider 9mm kind of be the bottom end for a main carry gun.
Jimmy?
I myself wouldn't go any less than 9mm, but if somebody else wants to use a different caliber, I'm cool with that. It'll poke a hole in them. It'll work.
Okay, Ghost, sorry.
Yeah. My backup gun's a 380. And there are times when that's the only thing that I can carry in a pocket or something. I mean, like Jimmy said, it'll do its job. I think 9mm is probably the low end you really want to try one to go, but I mean, if that's all you have, absolutely go for it.
So I own 380 pistols. Obviously, we're not talking about revolvers with 380. So unless I'm wrong, a 380 semi-auto and a 9mm semi-auto nowadays are the same capacity, or is the 9mm lesser capacity?
They're about
round
the same
capacity, you mean?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to those little tiny Glocks or the little subcompacts that the when I first 380s, I bought my Tech P380s. That was 380 was the direction subcompacts were going, and then very soon after that was like the early 2000s. Very soon after, they started going. Other manufacturers like Smith and Ruger started putting more attention to the small ones, and they started making 9s that were as small as the 380s or just a smidge bigger. And 380 in my mind kind of lost favor with most people with the small 9s. So my question is, those small 9s that they've come out with now in the last few years are every bit as small as the old 380s, right? And they're the same capacity.
Yeah. Well, like my shield that I carry is a 9, and it's a 10-round capacity, and then my 380 bodyguard is a 6+1. So I'm getting even the subcompact 9s, I'm getting 4 more rounds than I would in the 380.
Well, but a comparable gun, they're basically the same. I mean, they're the same diameter.
Yeah, they're about the same. Yeah, they're about the same. Yeah.
So now, answering the question 10 years ago, I would have said 380 is fine. Don't worry about it. But nowadays, why would you buy a 380 when you could buy a 9? They're the same price. They're the same physical size. Why limit to 380, which is most people barely put it on their radar. And most people like to start at 9, or the other people that won't put it on the radar are starting at 9 and going up. So, but my answer is I got a 357 5-shot LCR that's about the same size as the small ones, and I like that better. So as a little sidetrack, do we want to do gun magnets, or do we want to let Ghost pick a wild card?
I don't know what the point. I think gun magnets,
Yeah.
like you, or gun magnets. I mean, to me, that should be a good idea, bad idea. That's the only place they should be.
Well, I will say this, if you don't mind me stepping on you guys' toes, being the newbie. When we were at Wanamaker, we were outside smoking, and that guy was out there, if you remember, and he was there selling the magnets, and he was doing some really, really cool things with those magnets. And a lot of people use them to put their guns underneath like their dashboards in their car, or a lot of people are using them for saving space in their storage, like they're hanging them on a wall or something like that. So I think they have a place. I just don't know. I mean, outside of storage and all that, I don't know. I don't know what they'd be used for a whole lot. They have a use.
Well, we've talked about them before. I think that's why we were talking about moving on from this one or to something else. But my problem with them is that they magnetize the metal. That they're, it's just like one of those little thingies you get for a screwdriver to magnetize it. You keep wiping your gun. You put it on there and wipe it off. Put it on there, wipe it off. As you're pulling the gun away, you're wiping the electrons or whatever. Eventually, you're magnetizing your gun. And I'm not interested in a gun collecting little bits of metal filings and paper clips and staples and stuff if it falls on the carpet or in the dirt outside. That has no appeal.
That's what convinced me is when we talked about that, and I went, oh shit, I never even thought about that. But you start magnetizing the little bits and pieces inside your gun, you're going to have problems eventually because something's going to work its way in there.
Or just the slide, yeah. I mean, but I do like those new ones. They basically wrapped them in that fake suede or something. It's real heavy duty, kind of soft material. So right away they're padded. The last ones were the gun magnets, literally called gun magnets, and they were Kydex wrapped, kind of vacuum formed Kydex, little wrapped things that were hard. And yeah, they would get grit and stuff on them and start to scratch up guns and stuff. So I like them for knives a lot. There's no problem with knives. Definitely like them for shovels and other type of gear because they're super strong magnets. But this new type kind of wrapped like a little fun size candy bar. It almost looked exactly like a little fun size candy bar, right? Except with a grommet on each end where the wrapper comes together. Instead of having a candy bar inside, it was a big chunk of strong magnet. I think those could be pretty useful, but I wouldn't necessarily use them for firearms.
Yeah, I agree.
No, we're not getting many comments on that, so I don't know. Let's just keep moving along topics and just take the time and use it for, compressing the show a little bit, I guess. So we can move on to the gun shop of the day.
Oh, what do we got today for gun shop? Oh, okay, yeah, I like this one.
What happened?
I really like the name.
I don't know what happened there. So let's try to figure out what happened to the thing, and I'll go try to find the link. What happened?
Yeah, so it's Copper Customs, right?
Yeah, I just got to go find my dang video.
You're promoting Tim's shop now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Next up on the Gun Show Loophole Tour would be Copper Custom. This is a gun shop in Valparaiso, Indiana. Most people are going to know it as the shop for Military Arms Channel. So this is a pretty neat looking shop, very new and clean and well laid out. And this is in Valparaiso, Indiana. So I think about an hour or something outside of Chicago in northern Indiana. So it's accessible from, I guess, the areas up there. I'm pretty sure they've done videos and stuff on the channel. So this is just a quick walkthrough of the shop and some still pictures. Obviously, very cool shop and one that we're all familiar with from the YouTube videos. So I had a chance to talk with Mac. It's always a pleasure. and leave us some comments if you've been to the shop or if you've ordered from Copper Custom. Stay tuned for more on the tour. And as always, thanks for watching.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com.
Looked a little shy on ammo on those shelves, though. You know, there's like 5 or 6 boxes.
Definitely not
They
an
either got a
ammo.
lot more.
Definitely not an ammo store. You're right. I don't know what. I didn't check out other shops in town, but you know it's possible they have like a Walmart down the street. You know, and there's no point stocking ammo.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like an availability thing.
At least for your,
tragedy.
at least for your really common stuff. Right?
Does he have like an attached indoor outdoor range to his shop, or is it just a standalone shop?
It's just a gun shop for the customers. It's in like, I mean, I didn't travel all around Valparaiso. I don't know Valparaiso, but it's in an industrial area with metal buildings and stuff, like where you'd have, you know, a guy who does gutters or something, or like a contractor to keep all their trucks or something. So it's in that type of neighborhood, not necessarily like a bunch of restaurants and auto parts stores kind of neighborhood. So it's like I said, it's possible that they're not necessarily your first stop for, I'm just going to get some ammo and some targets. It's more of a shop where you're going to go buy your gun or get a special AR built, you know, with particular parts or what, or coatings and that kind of thing. Plus, I'm sure they do a lot of mail order.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people will buy guns from just because it's Mac, you know.
So every day we try to feature a new gun shop, and we featuring that one from the tour. That was as I was leaving Illinois, heading towards Smeggy in Detroit. And we're not really doing them in order so much as just kind of getting them out there as I can steal a day away to edit video and what. So one of the reasons we started doing the show on the daily is so that we could promote a gun shop every single day. Our goal is to promote a different shop every single day. So if you've got a gun shop that you like and you'd like to share, send us an email, dailygunshow@gmail.com, and we're happy to put it in the schedule and promote those local shops out there. With that, we might as well move on to the next thing. Want to do a movie. Every day we try to feature a gun-related movie, something you might not have seen in a while, or if you're a youngin', something you ain't seen yet. I suspect this is not one of those because it's fairly recent. We're doing 2 of them today because I'm pretty sure they're fairly similar, and that's Red and Red 2.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's a little bit of
This Red, Retired and Extremely Dangerous or something. So it's like old folk. It's like old retired spycraft type of movie.
Hitman or something like that. Yeah, it's Bruce Willis and all that, wasn't it?
yeah, it's old retired spy hitmen guys, right?
Yeah.
So
A little bit funny. So it's like Mission Impossible with a little bit more humor if they were all old. Right?
that's actually
much.
pretty good. Yeah.
It's not really James Bond, and it's not like Fast and the Furious or anything like that, but it's
It's got a bit of everything in it as far as those kind of movies go, and yeah, it's real good entertainment. I'll give it 2 solid thumbs up. I mean, because I enjoyed both of them surprisingly. Usually, I don't enjoy sequels, but it was good. Good entertainment.
That movie's getting 2 thumbs up for me. It was one of the scenes in there when John Malkovich and they was shooting a rocket at him, and that's kind of what got me onto like the big bore revolvers and stuff like that because he had a 460. So definitely a good entertaining movie. Like watching old guys be cranky and stuff like that. That's kind of funny too. So I mean, it was a good movie. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I give them 2 thumbs up. The good action scenes, but I mean, there was some comical. I mean, they're funny too. I mean, there's some funny lines in there, so it's not just this action-packed thing. It's comical also. So yeah, I like them.
I'm going to give it 1 for both. Just I liked it, but it wasn't in my top 10 or anything. But it was pretty good, and I would say it's one of the rare movies where if you haven't seen it, you're going to enjoy it. You know, I can't imagine people aren't going to think it's good entertainment, and I think a lot of people may have missed it because I don't think I would have noticed it if it wasn't for like gun channels and people talking about it. I probably would have I don't think I remember seeing it. In other words, like as far as like commercials or anything for it whenever they came out. How old are they? 3-4 years, like
4 or 5 years, something like that. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
So
it's
there you
been
go.
out a while.
So that's your movie of the day, and I think we've got them for the next couple of weeks. But we're always interested. So if we're trying to keep this interactive, throw us ideas for movies, and we're happy to put them in the list for future shows. Sometimes the stuff that no one's seen before is neat too. I wanted to jump back to the YouTube side and address some of the questions or some of the points from when we were doing the walkthrough over at Copper Customs there, because I got this same comment from the comments on the YouTube video. Harry was saying that the shop looks like a hospital, and people had said that in the comments as well, that it looks real sparse and barren. And I think that's because of that modern typo where they put the slat wall up, and you see that in these shops that are new. You know, they start with an empty pallet and they buy their fixtures and stuff, and they just haven't had time to accumulate. You know, like an old gun shop, you know, they've had years and decades to buy inventory and get weird stuff, and some of it sells and the rest of it stays on the floor, and then something else piles on top of it, and years later somebody roots around and reorganizes and weird stuff comes up out of nowhere and is on the shelves all of a sudden, and you go back to the shop 6 months later and it's different. They just haven't had a chance to get to that point. But I would say from being there just the one time, I haven't been there more than the one visit, and it was not scheduled or anything, so I just kind of caught them all off guard on whatever day that was. That as much as it might look sterile, what I don't get to get across in the video is the conversations that were going on. And he had quite a few employees there. There was some customers there, and they were having multiple conversations about guns. And that energy is something that, again, it's really difficult to get across in videos. I don't know, maybe there is a way and I'm just not good at it, or maybe there's just no way to do it. But it's definitely the kind of shop where you go in there and there's just that, what do you call it, like a vibe or something. When you can ask a question, you know you're not going to get the runaround. You know you're not going to get some 18-year-old kids reciting what he thinks he's heard, you know, as a response to that question before. You're not getting some old guy who's so set in his ways. So it is an interesting shop and not necessarily right on the beaten path, but if you do get a chance to check it out, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
No, go ahead. Okay.
I was going to say, like when you were there, did you notice that there were people there to hopefully like meet Mac? I mean, or you know, when you're talking about someone who's in the public eye like that and they have their own shop, I wonder how much of people are actually buying, or versus how many people are there hopefully to talk to Mac or something. Did you kind of notice any of that?
It was like on the strip of Vegas, like that one, the pawn shop that's in Vegas. Or even there's like that gun shop in Vegas that they go to get I mean, whenever I watch that pawn shop show, they would go to that one gun shop in Vegas, the gun store, and that's also right on the main drive of Vegas. That kind of shop I could see. Eric's shop in Atlanta, there was people in there. You know, we went there twice or three times I think during that visit, and each time there was people in there wanting to see Eric or Barry or what. But again, that's a shop that's right on the highway in Atlanta, Georgia. This is in Valparaiso, Indiana, which is a little, I think it's a school town in the middle of kind of nowhere, Indiana. So it's not on the beaten path, and it's not even on a highway that's between two things, as far as I think. So, so to answer your question is no, the people that were there were customers. They were asking about guns that they already had or asking real questions about guns. It wasn't like just, hey, is Mac here? I want to say hi or get a picture. I'm almost positive that does happen, especially with Mac being such an internationally known whatever person, that I'm sure that happens. It just didn't happen to have it whatever day that was. Like I say, I kind of came in on schedule, whatever it was, like a Tuesday or something, and was there for like half an hour or an hour and then on my way. So I just picked one random hour out of their thing. I mean, on a holiday weekend it might be a whole different thing.
Yeah, I'm glad that, hopefully that's the way it is all the time. Because it would be probably frustrating for him if he's trying to have a business and all he does is get fanboys and all of that wanting to take pictures and all that. I'm trying to sell guns here. I'm trying to have a business. So I was hoping that it wasn't a bunch of fan people and more customers. That's good to hear.
I don't think Tim would put up with that anyway.
No, but you can't stop it though.
steadily saying he thinks it's a new shop. It is. They've had the shop for a while, but even since they've been in business, which is fairly new, they've moved locations. So they're even in this location less time than they've been in business. So it's definitely I got that new shop smell. They haven't even completely filled into every corner of it yet.
Yeah, and that's the point I was going to make is it takes years before a gun shop becomes that iconic. You walk in there and there's stuff everywhere, and it's like, I love those kind of shops.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the ones that just make you go, oh, because the shelving's old and everything's old, but there's stuff there that you've just never even seen before, Yeah, I love
Is
them.
it also like a pawn shop, or is it strictly new guns?
No, it's just brand new guns. There might
It's
be
just
some.
brand new guns. Okay.
It's just guns. There's that section in front with some shirts and then holsters and that kind of thing. And then maybe some support gear, but it's mostly a gun shop.
So he's not taking in used guns and trade-ins and all that stuff. He's just selling the new stuff.
Might be. I wouldn't say. I don't. And that's one of the things I didn't really spend a lot of attention looking at shops ratios. But it seems. I mean, I don't know. So there was definitely not like a big section for used guns or anything. But I don't know if some of those guns were used or not.
Yeah, there could have been a lot of consignment guns that you just, because a lot of people will consign guns that they've just never shot. So they make brand new, but they're an actual used gun that's on their consignment. I've got a few shops here that you go in there and it might be a quarter of the handguns and stuff are consignment, but they look brand new, right?
I'm going to suggest let's move the chat along and get into training. What's the best training class for a beginner or newcomer to guns?
A CCW class.
Bingo. I think that's probably your best bet. And in fact, I would suggest a CCW class every month, as long as you can afford it and you find it interesting. Once you've got your CCW, you can audit the classes or just let them know that you'd like to take it as an additional knowledge. And since you're not utilizing their time and their energy on doing the actual forms, you can sometimes do that relatively cheap or even free. If you're doing some kind of YouTube or online content creation, shouldn't default to YouTube anymore. If you're doing some kind of online content creation, a podcast or a blog or whatever, consider, suggesting some kind of trade, like you'll promote the business or review the class. And I've always found for a long time there, I would go to a CCW class whenever I could get invited to one, and the experience of having those students ask questions and the ways that an instructor answers them is infinitely interesting. So I think those are some of your best bets if you're new to firearms in general. There's very little running around or doing anything. It's all sitting in a classroom for the most part, maybe a little bit of manipulation type of basic rudimentary stuff at the range, but good info and in a casual environment where they expect questions from new people.
Yeah, and it'll usually go over a bunch of safety stuff too. So that's something that I was actually just having a conversation a few days ago with the local gun shop, and they were over there telling stories about all the times that they were muzzled this year, like that they would make like a 2017 list for how many times they got flagged that year and all that from people that said that they didn't have the gun's empty, and then they rack the slide back and something falls out of the chamber or something like that. So I mean, I would say a safety class would be something good. And speaking of locals, a lot of gun shops also have some type of a relationship usually with the place. Maybe not a relationship, but at least business cards or something laying around for a decent training class. So that's why I would say CCW to get some good safety knowledge.
That's those good tips, Jimmy. I mean, and that's one thing I really want to do when I'm down this year is get a class or two under my belt. Because I mean, other than I've grown up with guns since I was a little kid, I've only had a class.
Yeah, Chris Hunter out there on the YouTube side, it's also a good place to start learning your state gun laws as well.
That's something that usually you'll get gone over with in a CCW class also.
Yeah, that's what he's saying is the CCW classes where you learn about the state gun laws and all that. So I think the CCW classes are great for a lot of different ways.
So as far as like sending you to an actual instructor for a first class, I'm going to recommend Masada Ayub. He's one of the world-class instructors. I've been to quite a few different classes, and Masada Ayub is definitely in the top 3 of the classes I'll ever recommend for anybody, especially a new person. You'll really get the gold standard to compare everything else you'll experience to, and there's so many benefits. We could do a whole show on it, so I'm going to recommend the Masada Ayub. Either any of his classes, really. The 20, which is classroom, the 40, which is the same classroom with some range time, and then he's got occasionally seminars and things as well. So any of those ways that you get to experience the Masada Ayub instruction, I'd highly recommend it.
Does he still travel, or is that something that you have to seek out now?
He travels quite a bit, but he's older, so I wouldn't assume he's going to be doing it forever. We're at an era where the old guys who started all of this are still instructing and won't be forever. So take the opportunity to still have them.
What do his classes run usually for the people that might be interested? Like I'm interested. I'd love to do that. Like, what they usually charge for those?
It's a good question. They're not giving them away, and but the seminars could be probably your best bet. I think $400.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's about the cost of a gun, but it's one of those decisions you make, like a vault or a safe. When you get to a certain level, just like with any hobby or area of interest, you start going from playing around to getting more involved, and it's one of those decisions you make. And you're gonna just own the equipment, or are you gonna put some effort into the skill sets and the mindset and the knowledge to use that equipment well and correctly? And I guess you have to take advice from different sources, but I don't think you're going to find too many people that don't recommend Masada Ayub, especially after experiencing him.
Yeah, Pink says he's coming back to Ohio in May, so if you're around Ohio in May, he'll be out there.
I've shook the man's hand. Other than I haven't really spent any time talking to him, but from everything I've read and heard about, I'd read about him years and years and years ago, about how he was the premier guy to talk to. So he seems to have it.
So throw it up on the screen here. It's Masada Ayub Group is the name of his courses. His classroom is $400. The 20 with live fire is also $400. His MAG 40, which is the 40-hour immersion, 20 hours on the range, 20 hours in the classroom, is $800. So easily the cost of a pricey firearm, and you come out of that with definitely a different set of skills.
And in some cases, probably a different mindset too.
I would imagine so, yeah. So those are some options. If we're talking actual getting into guns, I'm going to recommend Jaeger's fighting pistol. I would recommend Jimmy's CCW suggestion first, so that you know the laws and the basics. And then once you're all comfortable, take a fighting pistol. It's going to get you to the mindset of what's really going on when you strap a gun on every day. The responsibilities and the true consequences of all that. Without a lot of flash and sizzle, you'll see most of the reviews of Jaeger stuff, or the negative reviews are from people that have never even tried to experience it or give it a fair shake. And unfortunately, the flash and sizzle is what most people are responding to, which is unfortunate, because again, of all the classes I've experienced, it's less dry and methodical and less it's like the Jeet Kune Do of gun stuff. It takes a little bit from everywhere. It doesn't require you to do any specific thing. Take whatever skills you've got and then applies them. It's all about, like he says, mindset and then skills and tools. So it's an excellent beginner's platform, again, so that you can compare other things to it. But and again, you can either go to Tennessee for those, or they have classes in different areas as well.
Have you ever been or heard anyone who's gone to take any of Reed's classes since he's not with them anymore? I mean,
No,
I know a lot of people think that he was really good. I just didn't know if you've ever been around any of his stuff.
Never really followed him. That was all after I did a majority of my training initially. So after that, I was just reviewing classes, and I stopped really reviewing classes as a area of interest years before Reed was even in the picture.
I got you.
I really enjoyed the classes that were from and made classes of instructors that were prior military. I thought it was neat to get the insight from the various branches and the various types of military. Everybody gets trained to do different jobs, and they bring that type of instruction out as into their courses. I always found that was interesting, and then the different types of instructors. And then of course I was limited to where I could get. And Reed never came out here. If he would have come out here, it might have been a little bit different. But I'm tied to Arizona, so I was restricted to who I could physically get to.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's I've seen some of Reed's videos. He looks like he seems to have his his ducks in a row and stuff. So it'd be interesting. But I see the advantage of seeing a lot of different instructors, because I've done it in different things, not in firearms, but in racing and stuff like that. A different instructor gives you a different flavor, and even if you only learn a few things from each one, they're enough different that together it's greater than the whole. I guess how you say that. But,
oh, absolutely. I mean, if you like you said, I mean, there's not one person that's going to be the end all be all. But if you can go take several from different people and take bits and pieces from all of them, then there's no way you couldn't be better and more proficient.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Let's see here. Jorge said that American Gun Chick did a video taking Jaeger's fighting pistol class. I saw that video, and that fighting pistol class looks really, really interesting. And I was talking with Dano probably back in like October or so, and he's obviously real big on it. But that fighting pistol class looks pretty awesome.
It is. It's neat. The subject is the best training class for a beginner and newcomer to guns, and I'm going to suggest another one, and that's your hunter safety courses. Your CCWs, those are probably going to be more local and run by people maybe in the town that you live in or nearby at least. The hunter safety courses a lot of times are run at like a big box store or something, or an outdoor store in your area, maybe at the Game and Fish or whatever you call it in your locality. But the concept of being new to guns and everything, by taking some of those courses, even if the instruction isn't vital, if you're not going to be a hunter, in other words, some of the outdoor aspects of it might be interesting. But it's the networking, it's the meeting new people, and in a classroom type of situation, you're usually there for hours, and then you've got some times for breaks, and those are all opportunities to meet people and kind of get an idea of who are gun owners in your area. And it's not a situation like you have any obligation to chat with them, but if you see somebody there who, I don't know, looks like they have another common interest with you, maybe you start a discussion based on a t-shirt or a bumper sticker on a car or something, and then you meet somebody that eventually you end up going shooting with or something. So as far as being a newcomer to guns, it can be kind of like anything, when you're new to a thing and without a lot of common ground yet. Some of those classes are going to be other newcomers to it. So I'd say take an opportunity with whatever you can find in your area. Maybe there's just a class, like some of the NRA classes are super boring, but local gun shops will run them. And again, for newcomers, they're going to answer a lot of those questions that are very basic, and you might feel embarrassed asking at even a CCW class, I guess, potentially. Like, how does a gun, what's the difference between single action and double action or something? At a NRA basic pistol. That's the kind of stuff they're there to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. And the hunter safety course is a good point about that is they do stress basic safety. And in a lot of ways, that you can never have too much of that. At least being reminded of it, because we can all get sloppy.
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
and if you find a guy that says that he knows everything about guns and gun safety, then you just met the next idiot in the world. So you can never learn too much.
Just met a liar.
Right. Exactly.
we might not be able to learn too much, but we can talk too much about learning. So let's move on. Let's see. We're getting close to the end of the show. What happened to my health? Oh, there it is. History link here. I'll be checking out history here as we move on to the next segment of the show. What do you want to do next?
Gun of the day.
You always want to do the gun of the day when I'm already doing something else on this monitor. All right, where is it at?
The show shot. The show shot. The French.
Oh, I thought that was a misspelling. I didn't know that was a word.
No, it's a machine gun. Well, yeah, it's a machine gun. Automatic rifle machine gun. And actually, this is something that you guys should be interested in because you're Americans. And it was the most commonly used automatic rifle in World War I by the American forces. For the fact that the Browning, the BAR hadn't been perfected yet or invented yet, maybe. And I used to think these things were just shit because I'd heard all these stories about them being shit. But when in looking these up, I got to find out a few things about it from a couple other channels on YouTube, as well as I did actually look up a few articles about them, and they weren't as bad as what everyone thought. I mean, it's a stupid concept to have the holes in the side of the magazine in the mud of the trenches, but there was a reason they did that. It was so that the assistant gunner could see how many rounds were left in the magazine. But they were originally designed as a walking gun. They had a very low rate of fire for a full auto. Something silly like 400 rounds a minute. It was really low. It was about half of what would be with a normal like a BAR or something. So yeah, it's a completely different kind of action, but it's an early action like what you'd see on the early Auto 5 shotgun, right? The barrel recoiled. It was a long recoil action, so the barrel recoiled with the bolt. Really interesting, and you know what? It wasn't that bad a design, and it seems to be fairly reliable from what I've seen of people shooting them after the fact. And there's all kinds of reasons why it got that reputation, and I think Ian from Forgotten Weapons went all into it. So if anybody wants to exactly all the details on that, they can look at his videos on it. But it's kind of neat. It's kind of funky. It looks kind of almost steampunk. But man, I'm really surprised. And it is one of the cheaper full autos you can buy. I think the one I saw in Ian's video that got sold for $13,500. So for a full auto gun, transferable.
What caliber?
That would be 8mm Lebel. Yeah, about the same velocity as 30-06. So, yeah. No, 8mm Lebel was a good round. It was the first smokeless round, and it was not a underpowered round or anything like that. It had some real punch to it. Like I say, it was pretty close to being the same velocity as the 30-06. So yeah, these things were converted to 8mm Mauser and used by other countries after the First World War. So if it can take an 8mm Mauser, I mean, obviously it's a good action. So I was really impressed. I really had the mindset because I'd always heard the stories about how shitty they were. But the more I looked into it, the more I found that, those weren't all quite true. They weren't great.
Psycho Camp, I think what he's saying out there on the YouTube side is that the problem with them was from when they tried to convert them to 30-06, and that would beat them up. That when you left them in their original French caliber, they worked better. There's some other stuff that went on. It was because it was really poor conversion. I just noticed that we get a thing here that tells us we're about to go off the Instagram. So thanks for watching. This is the Daily Gun Show. You can watch us every evening at midnight.
Yeah, check out Biker Bob 59 on Instagram.
Nobody wants to do that. All right, that ended. We had 65 people watching over on Instagram, so appreciate
Nice.
watch us live, and the people that are watching us live over here. We got 36 people watching in the middle of the night like this. 28 of you gave us thumbs up, so we do appreciate that.
29.
So that's about 7 of you that really just don't care for the show that much. But we're sorry, I interrupted you there on your old-fashioned, weird-looking machine gun.
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I like that. Weird as it looks, I kind of like the magazine. Single stack too, by the way. Which is why it looked like that. Plus the label was rimmed round. So anyway, yeah, that's our gun of the day, and I think I was really surprised in looking at it and researching a bit that it was actually better than what the rumors were. So yeah. What's next?
I went to look at history of the day, and guess what? Nothing. So if you know about something that happened today in history, let us know, because I couldn't find nothing good. Ponnery's usually pretty good at that, but he's probably sleeping. So C4 has been putting a lot of information out there on the YouTube side. Thanks for that. Let's see. Looks like he's got new videos coming out. So yeah, just click on his name over there on the YouTube side and check out his channel. Thanks for participating in the chat. And let's see, they're talking about other things. So we'll keep moving. I think we're about it. We're about done.
I was curious about something. If I may be indulged for a second.
What is it that you're curious about, Jimmy?
Yeah.
You wanted to drop something downstairs? Did you drop some aluminum foil?
My slinky fell off, and Well, you guys know what that sound means. Time to crack them knuckles, whip out them keyboards, blah 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 blah. This is a Gun Channels exclusive, so we're only looking at Gun Channels for the answer. We're not looking anywhere else for the answer for this
That makes
one.
it easier for us. I like that.
Yes, and also speaking of easier for us, I like them going into the history of the show type of things. Earlier we were talking about something high-powered ammo, and when we were talking about that conversation, I had mentioned, besides mentioning many other times, what I carry. So the question for today is, what do I carry?
What?
Yeah.
A Browning 1919.
1919.
You know me so well.
The Glock 42.
No.
Smith & Wesson 460.
1911. Not
Nope,
what he
nope.
used to carry.
1911, no.
Did you say what your grandpa carried?
No. Nope.
Okay,
Glock
Glock
19 pants says.
45,
That's Jimmy. Glock 19. We're done.
464, Desert
Oh.
Eagle.
Gizzard says a deagle.
Restart the countdown? Really?
Overpack says Red Rider.
Really? Oh, wait, I guess we don't have to restart. I picked the 1 hour.
686.
Yeah, we got all night. Nope.
Glock 30s, Pink SC.
Wait, that wasn't on the Gun Channel side though, was it?
What are you reading,
Enrique
Bob?
says a
Remember
kill
how we
tech.
said the Gun Channel
Oh,
side
no,
only?
put it on the Gun Channel side. Okay, never mind then. I'm just reading what everybody's saying on the other side. So let's see. Desert Eagle 686.
What is
Caltech.
said on the YouTube side at this point in the show is of no consequence.
Oh my God. See, this is why we don't grow and get subscribers, right? You keep
The
slacking.
Mossberg Shockwave. That'd be fun to carry.
The YouTube side, they're always talking at least. The Gun Channel side, they're like quiet and you just sit there and watch us. And at least we get thumbs up on the YouTube side.
Not a shockwave, but the answer was said.
Glock 27, the CZP07, the SISPAWS, the SISPAWS, Glock 23.
23.
Do you even know, Jimmy?
Nope.
Do you
If
even?
Gizzard and Pants, if I were to have asked what Heavy and Angry carry, you may have been right.
We got the Uzi, we got the CZ09. Do you even know Jimmy? Jimmy's the host of this show.
Yeah.
Not the one not 9mm Jimmy.
Come on.
That's
I
the
only wear
whole,
my Uzi to church on Sundays.
9mm Jimmy hosts the yoga and stretching exercise show on Saturday morning.
Glock 43.
No. A big
He said he
stick.
carries a big stick.
He literally said it yesterday when we talked about big, small barrels, right?
Raging.
The shield. Now they're just making a mockery of our contest. I think we should.
I think nobody
should
should
hours end it.
And this was the day we're giving away the gun, right? So I don't think you get it. Yeah. No.
I feel like this is abuse right now. I'm hurt kind of in a way.
Diaz.
Oh wow. All right, the competition's over.
Nobody wins today.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, somebody had the right answer, but they just didn't mosey on over to gun channels and type it in.
It's over.
Shame.
Okay.
It's a shame.
You guys lose. And what was it? It was a Smith & Wesson 686, wasn't it? That we were giving away?
No.
That we were giving away.
Yeah.
Well, or the Cobra, whatever they would have wanted.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Well,
we'll just throw those away. Let me just throw those in the trash because they didn't get taken today for those.
No. We'll just yeah. No, we
don't recycle here. We throw them away. They're gone.
Throw them into my trash bin.
Take them into a grinder. Oh, we have an answer.
Yeah, but the music stopped.
It doesn't count anymore. No, they're not getting nothing. No bullshit to that. No, my check. They're not getting shit.
There's some buttercups out there.
Yeah. Like, suck it up, buttercups. You were not there in time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But damn it, that comes out of my damn paycheck. So you ain't getting it if you don't deserve it.
Shame. For shame.
What a disappointing way to end the show. So it's episode 479, the episode we figured out that nobody really knows Jimmy. We talked about
we found out that really no one cares about Jimmy.
Yeah.
So tomorrow will be episode 480. It's a new start. New Jimmy. Ghost will be joining us. We'll have, oh, you know what? That was the confusion. They were probably talking about what Ghost carries. They thought we were talking about Jimmy.
Yeah.
No.
I think Ghost carried an air gun, though.
No, I carry a BB gun.
Oh, okay. Well, that is an air gun.
Well, you're right. You're right.
With a BB gun, it not only looks like a gun in a dark alley, but you can make like a noise with it, like a chick noise. So you got basically.
I carry my BB gun with nothing in the chamber, so just want to let you guys know that.
Be safe. Israel.
Episode 470. How did episode 479 happen tomorrow? Oh no, tomorrow is episode 480. How about I read the thing right? Episode 480. We're gonna be talking about gun tech, gun coatings, etc. We're gonna be talking about the gun biz, and specifically, we'll be talking about SHOT Show 2008, 2009, and 2010. So that was one of the best SHOT Shows ever. One of the most expensive SHOT Shows, and a pretty cool SHOT Show in Florida in 2009, and then the first SHOT Show in the Sands Dungeon 2010, one of the worst SHOT Shows ever. So we got a fun one tomorrow talking about old-fashioned SHOT Shows. Then we'll talk about for our alternative gun topic, what if Genghis Khan had guns? We were going to talk about that earlier in a previous show. We never got to it, so we're going to recycle that one. Every day we talk about a gun shop, gun movie of the day, and all that kind of fun stuff too. So we're here every day at midnight, and we encourage you to check it out. Please share the show, let people know about it. Our goal is to have hundreds of people staying up all night to learn about guns and have fun with this interactive show we call the Daily Gun Show. But I think some stuff will happen between now and then.
Well, I don't know. Usually, I don't think new Jimmy's up to speed on that yet. So, I mean, I guess we could use old Jimmy one more time.
Old-fashioned Jimmy?
Yeah, old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned Jimmy.
Give you an old-fashioned Jimmy for a quarter.
Hey, sonny boy. What do you think of that, sonny boy?
Now pull your pants up, Jimmy. They got to be just under your boobs.
All right.
So something will happen between now and then? think was what we were going for Bob.
Oh yeah. Early watch. Oh wait, no, tomorrow's Saturday, ain't it? So
Oh,
Saturday.
No, tomorrow's Friday.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Is it?
He's already.
Oh,
Hell, Jimmy.
uh,
Ruin the show. Start
told
over.
you. I told you, it's the Alzheimer.
well, you guys are telling me there's a new Jimmy. I'm planning my future here. So anyway, yeah.
Walmart is a greeter.
I'm shooting for the stars, fellas. But yeah, so early watch will be on tomorrow around 9 Eastern sometime in the morning. Lobbies sprinkled throughout gunchannels.com, so come on down and be a part of the conversation. Also there is Fridays, so Clover and Edge or Edge and Clover.
Let's not forget Bargain Guns and Gear.
Oh, and
It's Friday.
budget guns and gear. Yeah, budget guns and gear.
And also Jelsma's first shows tomorrow night at 9 Eastern. Jelsma's kickoff shows tomorrow.
Snap.
Dells
Right before ours then. No, 2 hours before ours. We're at midnight. Okay. So is that going to be right on top of Edge? Is he corking Edge?
No, he's going right after at 9 Eastern. He's going right after Budget Guns. He's going to do, Jelsma's doing fish, fur, and firearms or something like that. But his first show is going to be tomorrow right after Budget Guns and Gear show.
And then his show and then Clover?
Then Clover and then Edge, yeah.
Oh, snap. So you got a full night of programming on Fridays. That's been a long time since that's been around. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Let's tell people
Friday's
that.
the new Tuesday.
Oh, man. Tuesdays are so 2017.
Yeah, I'm over Tuesdays.
So one of the things we're also been working on, Jimmy, Bob, and I, is the outdoor chat. So check that out over on other places. We'll have, I don't know, maybe we'll have links to it or not. But outdoor chat, we talk about outdoors, not so much guns, more heading out and doing fun things in the outdoors. And we just wrapped up another week of shows over there. And you can check that out, I guess, on iTunes and just on the internet. We'll have some links out there, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think only the first 5 are available right now on the YouTubes.
It's something to look forward to each day.
Yeah.
Too true. And yeah, it seems pretty interesting. So I'm liking it. Anyway, let's wrap this up with our quote. Today's quote is by Theodore Roosevelt. He's one of my favorite presidents. I don't know why. I just like him. He was a cool dude. I read about him a bunch when I was a kid, so that's why I kind of like him. Anyway, and this one kind of goes along with apparently what Jimmy carries, according to some people. Speak softly and carry a big stick. You will go far. Theodore Roosevelt. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.
Buy things from dearwebsites.com.